What is up, Giants fans? I'm back at it with another video, and I promised I'd have this video out tonight. I said it in my Yankees injury report video. I said I was going to have a video tonight talking about the Leonard Williams franchise tag and the Kenny Golladay not going to be franchise tagged by the Lions. I said I was going to have a video about that. Well, here it is. The New York Giants have franchise tagged defensive end Leonard Williams, and he will be a Giant for the rest of his career. And I am very, very happy about this. And I'm very happy that he's going to be a Giant for the rest of his career. And I was a big fan of Leonard Williams. When we traded for him from the Jets, I was kind of confused. I didn't really know why we did it. We were a team that was, going nowhere. We were like, 2-8 when we traded for him. And we were, there was no direct. We were, we weren't going anywhere. We weren't going to make the playoffs. We were a bad team. We were a horrible team that year, and the team was a mess. And I kind of just thought they were going to tank the rest of the season. But they traded for Leonard Williams, and I thought it was a very interesting trade. And a lot of Giants fans weren't a fan of it. But 2019, Leonard Williams had an amazing season for the Giants. I'm sorry, 2020. Last year, he had an amazing season. I thought he was fantastic. I thought he was our best defensive player, probably outside of James Bradbury, probably our best defensive player last year. I thought he was phenomenal. Had a ton of sacks, ton of tackles. He was huge, and he had a fantastic year for the Giants last year. I'm so happy he's back, and I feel like he probably is as well, because I think he really really does like being a Giant, and he just makes this defense even better. And I already like the defense coming into the season, and now with Leonard Williams coming back, it gets even better. And I'm a huge fan of this. I'm a huge fan of the Giants franchise, and tagging him. I'm so happy he's back. I want to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on Leonard Williams being franchise tagged by the Giants? I'm a big fan of it. I think Leonard Williams is one of the most important players on this team. I think he's one of the better players on this team, maybe outside of guys like Barkley and Bradbury. Probably the best player on this team. I mean, he's that good. Leo the Lion, that's a good nickname. A nickname the Giants fans like to call him, because the guy's an absolute animal. He gets a ton of sacks. He's a beast, and he's one of the better defensive linemen in the league. And I'm so happy he's back with the New York Giants. Now we do have some holes to fill. Regarding the team, we definitely need a weapon. On offense, we also need probably another offensive lineman, because the offensive line does have some holes in it, because I'm not completely sold on guys like Matt Pert and Shane Lemieux to be starters just yet. So I think they could go out and grab another offensive lineman. They could address that in the draft. They could address that in free agency. I don't really know what direction what route they're going to take regarding the offensive line, but I think they're going to address getting another, an edge rusher and, another defensive player to, boost this defense even more. I think in the draft, that's what I think they're going to do there. And also for a weapon, on offense. I also think they're going to, go in the draft and, draft a receiver or maybe a tight end in the first round. I think that's very possible. And I think that's the route the Giants will head in. So that kind of gives away what I think about the Giants possibly signing Kenny Golladay. Goliday is a really good receiver. He led the league in touchdowns 2 seasons ago with the Lions, and he was playing on a really bad team. I think Matthew Stafford played 4 or 5 games that year. He didn't even play the whole season. And Kenny Golladay still led the league in touchdowns for a bad Lions team. So that's really impressive to do, especially when you're playing for a team like the Lions, who are terrible. So, Kenny Golladay is a really good receiver. He's really talented when he's healthy. He's one of the better receivers in the NFL. So, I'd love to have him on the Giants, but I'd rather get a receiver in the draft. So I'd rather, go for a guy like Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith or maybe even Kyle Pitts in the draft rather than sign Kenny Golladay, mainly because he spent most last year on the injured reserve. He didn't play a whole lot last year for the Lions, so I think the injuries are definitely a big concern for Kenny Golladay, but when he's on the field, there's no doubt. He's one of the most talented receivers in the NFL, and I'd love to have him on the Giants, but I'd rather get a receiver in the draft. That's just my opinion. You guys could have a different opinion, on adding a weapon rather in free agency or in the draft. I'd personally rather go in the draft, mainly because I think Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith are generational talents, and I'd rather have them on the Giants than Kenny Golladay, mainly because they are a lot younger. I think they're more talented and they have more potential. That's why I'd rather get a weapon in the draft. I'm sorry, draft. That's better. Rather get a weapon in the draft than in free agency. So, that's kind of my opinion on that. I'm pretty sure a lot of Giants fans would rather sign Goliday than go, get a receiver in the draft. But, or, maybe you want another receiver, out there in free agency. I don't know. Maybe you guys want Juju or, maybe even Odell Beckham. Maybe some Giants fans in their right mind. I don't know why, but some Giants fans maybe even want to bring Odell Beckham back. Obviously, Juju's another guy out there. There's a ton of other receivers, out on the free agent market right now that a lot of Giants fans probably want to bring in. But personally, if we are going to get a receiver, I'd rather get a receiver in the draft rather than in free agency. But hey, maybe if the top receivers in the draft aren't available, maybe you want to go out and again, if they're not available, maybe we can go out and sign a receiver. If they're still available, then fine, go ahead. But personally, I really do see at least one of the top 3 receivers being available at 11 for the Giants. And I think if they are available, I really hope they do go out and draft them in the first round, because I think this team needs a weapon on offense desperately for Daniel Jones, for Saquon Barkley, because the Giants, the offense was the biggest weakness for the Giants last year, in my opinion. So I think the Giants really do need to address that, and I think they will eventually address the offense in the draft. I really think that's what they're going to do. We're going to get Saquon back next year. Obviously, a big concern is his health. Will he stay healthy next year? I really hope he does, because he's one of the most talented players in the league. He's one of the best running backs in the league when healthy, if not the best. So. I really want to see Saquon healthy next year. I'm tired of him getting injured. I'm tired of New York athletes getting hurt in general. As a Yankees fan, I can relate with injuries. I'm really tired of seeing one of my favorite players, in sports, get injured all the time. So I really need Saquon to stay healthy next year, because he's one of the best running backs in the league when healthy. So I really need him to stay healthy next year. I really hope he does. So yeah, guys, I want to know your thoughts on Leonard Williams being franchise tagged. Personally, I'm a huge fan of it. I really wanted Leonard Williams back. If you watched the video I made about last week, I talked about, my opinion on would I rather have Leonard Williams re-sign, or would I rather go out and sign someone else? I said I'd rather re-sign Leonard Williams. I'd rather franchise tag him, and that's what the Giants just did today. They have franchise tagged Leonard Williams. He will be a Giant for the rest of his career, and I am pumped up about it. I'm so happy he's back. And another big question mark: what are the Giants going to do with Alvin Tomlinson? Because the cap space situation for the Giants isn't great right now. We're not, we don't have that much cap to work with. So what are we going to do with Alvin Tomlinson? Is he going to walk? Are we going to re-sign him? I don't personally see us re-signing him at this point, mainly because we already brought back Leo. I don't really think we're going to bring back Alvin Tomlinson. So I think we might address, the open, roster spot for defensive end, in the draft. I think that's another thing we could do, probably in the second or third round. We could go out and draft another defensive player. I think that's something the Giants very well could do, obviously, because Dalvin Tomlinson will most likely leave the New York Giants next season, because the Giants really don't have the money to afford Dalvin Tomlinson right now. So, we're definitely in a tough situation with Dalvin Tomlinson. But again, I want to know your thoughts on the Leonard Williams franchise tag. Are you happy with it? Are you not? I'd love to know your thoughts on it down in the comments below. I want to know your thoughts on Kenny Golladay. Do you want to sign him? Would you rather target a receiver in the draft, or would you rather go another route? What do you want the Giants to do this offseason? I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. And yeah, guys, for the final time in this video, I'm happy Leonard Williams is back. He's going to be a Giant for the rest of his career. Kenny Golladay is not going back to the Lions. He's going to be a free agent. The Lions are not planning on franchise, tagging him. They're not focusing on pairing him up with Jared Goff. I think that's pretty stupid on the Lions' part. I think they need a receiver to even be relevant, because I don't really think Jared Goff's a great quarterback in general. And with Jared Goff without any weapons in Detroit of all teams, they're not going to be very good next year. I don't really know what that team is doing right now. But Kenny Golladay is most likely going to be a free agent this offseason. Do you want the Giants to sign him? I'd love to know your thoughts on that down in the comments below. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll talk to you guys next time. Go Giants.